I hit that go live button and I was like, oh, that means I'm live. Good morning. How are we this morning? I hope we're doing super fantastic. Not just fantastic, not just like it's a day, like super fantastic. That is the expectation. Super fantastic. She's a super fan, super fan, super fantastic. Good morning. I hope we're doing well. Let's see what's going on today. I feel very perky. I feel very extra woo today. Mainly that's because I had a moment yesterday where I read something that like spoke to me. It came from the message. I was reading the message last night. I did a little Facebook Live. So what I do on Monday nights is I have a group of gals that we get together. Sometimes one person shows up, sometimes 10. I was going to say 15, but that was a lie. So like 10. And we just get together and there's always like a weekly assignment. What are we working on? Where are we going forward? Sometimes I give them an assignment and it was not a good assignment to give them and they all fail miserably. And the last assignment that we had in January was that assignment. It was terrible. And I know that, and I'm not going to beat the dead horse. So anyway, so we moved on. And for the month of February, we're focusing on kicking anxiety's ass, right? So anxiety is everywhere. It's like the hot new thing to have, right? Like it's like all the rage. And I went on a spiel about what I think that is, and I had some evidence, but I talked about the evidence too, so it's pretty good. Why that is, yada yada yada. And anyway, I was looking, in the Bible, and of course, there's the very famous, be anxious about nothing and pray about everything. And so I read it in the Message, and when I read it in the Message, it's Paul. And he's just talking. And he's like, I don't have this shit all figured out, y'all, but I'm just doing everything I can to move closer to Christ. And I was like, oh my God, that's totally me. Like, I don't have anything figured out, but I'm trying really hard to like do the right thing. And the worries that I have about what I'm doing, it spoke to me because, I'm worried that I'm giving out false information, like that I'm going to be like a false prophet. I'm not trying to be a false prophet. So anyway, it spoke to me. So I'm feeling super good. So today though, we're going to be talking about, are we at 9 already? We are. Spiritual amnesia. Like the soap opera. It's not as good as Red Bull Lime, but they don't make that anymore. So I got some stickers. I don't know which one I'm going to do yet, but I did have a couple people send me their addresses. So I'm going to be sending out some stickers. I got 100 stickers because I thought, why not? I really thought they were clear stickers with color, and I was going to be able to stick them in my notes, but they're white. They have white backgrounds, but they're still just as amazing. And the cool kids, they have, I don't remember today. They have their big cups, and they actually stick the stickers on the cups. I'm not a cool kid. My cups are glittered, and stickers don't stick on the glitter. Ask me how I know. So anyway, I'm going to be sending a couple of those out today. Fingers crossed I get them done today. So if you want one, not in the comments here, but if you want one, send me a little DM with your address. And if there's a possibility that like I already have your address and you still want one, you can be like, send me a sticker. And I'll be okay. And if you don't want one and I have your address and you get a sticker anyway, that's on you, Scooby-Doo, because I felt like I should get you a sticker. That's it. Let's get started. It's 6:00. Oh no, it's not. I still have a minute. I still have a minute to ramble. You would think with all the time that I get on here early, I would have all my rambling done. But you would be wrong. You would be wrong. Good morning, Michelle. Michelle was with me last night. There it is. There's my alarm that says it's time to be important. Just did the wrong way on that. That's okay. So hi guys, my name is Decker, and we are going to do a daily devotional. And I do them online because number one, it keeps me honest, keeps me doing them. And number two, I thought, when I was first doing this whole Christian thing and I don't know what I was doing, I had 1,000 reasons not to do anything. Good morning, Tiffany. Because I could always come up with an excuse to not do it. And I know all those excuses exist. So if I'm doing it and I'm reading it to you and you're like, I don't know what I just said. Sometimes I don't know what it says. and I just like talk it out and try to make it make sense. And you might feel differently. No, I bet that's not what it is. And that's what's really cool about the way the Jesus freaks look at the Bible, look at reading a devotional, look at those things. What you're going through when you read something, it can speak to you very differently than it can speak to the person right next to you or across the interwaves. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but I feel like that's what the Jesus freaks are saying. So I'm going to be a freak. Super freaky. Yeah. All right. So let's get started. You don't need a devotional because I have one. If you want to go get it, I'm doing Who I Am in Christ by Lynn Woods. This is what it looks like. It looks like something you'd find in like a super, this ain't going to be this book right here doesn't speak contemporary, oh God. That's not it. This one right here is like, holy music, but it's okay. It's okay. Don't be scared of the cover. So it's not very contemporary. We do use the NIV version in here, but then I read it out the message because I think the message is easier. So we're going to read the passage. Then we're going to read the devotional. And then there's a question. Really simple. So you don't need this because I got one. You do need something to write in and something to write with. So I have this little book here. It was covered in dust. I washed it off. I got stickers, so I put stickers on it. I feel like I'm a child. I've had a lot of stickers in my life. Anyway, I have a unicorn sticker on it because that's the one I found. I guess I could put some Jesus stickers on it now that I have those, and I have 100. I got plenty. And then in here, oh, good. You just need a blank page, and then you need something to write with. Sparkly pens work. Pen, prick your finger, write in blood. Don't do that. So whatever you want to do. So let's get started, guys. So we're going to be reading out of the Old Testament. We're going to read out of Deuteronomy. And Deuteronomy is scary to read out of because the name of the book that we're reading is called Deuteronomy. And that's a scary Bible name because you look at it and you're like, I don't even want to read that one. It's okay. It's a book of rules. It's a book of rules. Okay, so let's get started with Deuteronomy. Chapter 4, verse 9. Chapter 4, verse 9. I'm going to read it NIV and then I'm going to flip over to the message for you, okay? Only be careful and watch yourselves closely so that you do not forget the things your eyes have seen or let them fade from your heart as long as you live. Teach them to your children and their children after them. Fantastic. Listen, if I took that in a non-biblical sense, don't forget the shit you've seen. Teach your kids and your grandkids. I feel like CPS might get involved. Y'all have seen some shit. I don't know that I want to share that. I don't think that's what they're talking about, but let's find out by reading a little bit more, a little bit longer, and we'll do it in the message. All right. So that's verse 9. We're going to go ahead and we're going to read. I don't want to read all of that. Let's just start with 1 and let's just see. Let's just see where we go. So Deuteronomy 1:4. This is actually written, I think it's Moses. And I don't know. He's probably talking like, y'all know, like they wandered around for 40 years. Okay. I feel like that's this time. Like I feel like they're out of Egypt. Okay, I'm done thinking. Let's just read. Deuteronomy 4, the translation is the message. Now listen, Israel, listen carefully to the rules and the regulations that I'm teaching you to follow so that you may live and enter and take possession of the land God, the God of your fathers, is giving to you. Okay, so listen to the rules that I'm giving you so you can go enter into the promised land. Okay, cool. Moses, moving forward. Don't add a word to what I command you, and don't remove a word from it. Keep the commands of God, your God, that I'm commanding you. So this is post-tablets. Charlton Heston. You saw with your eyes what God did at Baal Peor, how God destroyed from among you every man who joined the Baal Peor orgies. Well, I'm dead. But you, the ones who held tight to God, your God, are alive and well, every one of you today. Oh, thank God. Pay attention. I am teaching you the rules and regulations that God commanded me so that you may live by them in the land you are entering and take up ownership. Keep them, practice them. You'll become wise and understanding. When people hear and see what's going on, they're going to say, oh, what a great nation. So wise, so understanding. We've never seen anything like that. Yes. What other great nation has gods that are intimate with them the way God, our God, is intimate with us? Always ready to listen to us. And what other great nation has rules and regulations as good and fair as this revelation that I'm setting before you today? Here's our verse. Just make sure you stay alert. Verse 9. Just make sure you stay alert. Keep close watch over yourselves. Don't forget anything of what you've seen. Don't let your heart wander off. Stay vigilant as long as you live. Teach what you've seen and heard to your children and grandchildren. Okay, so it goes on, but we're going to stop there. So essentially, he's telling them, follow the rules. So there's a bunch of rules in the Old Testament. We're not going to go down that path, but there's just a bunch of rules. Like there's rules on how to handle your meat. There's rules on like what to do with mold. Like there's just like ridiculous rules for days. Now, tiny baby Jesus comes and he says, yeah, we got a whole lot of rules, but here's the 2 things I need you to do. Love God first, put God first in everything that you do. Love everybody like you love yourself. If you will just do those 2 things, the rest of the shit will fall into place. I mean, he might not have said it that way, but that's essentially what he said. But the Old Testament, they like rules for everything. And I think it's Noah. I'm going to go with no, not Noah. Moses. Noah was the ark man. I'm so good. Have I told you that I wasn't a theologian? Okay, anyway. Moses is like, don't forget what I've taught you. Like it's come from God into me so that I can give it to you. Don't forget what I taught you. And like, don't forget like the people that were at the orgies in Baal. Baal. That's how it's spelled, by the way. Baal. Those people, they're all dead. But you held on to God. You didn't go. Here you are alive. Don't forget that shit. And there's probably other stuff too, but that's the one they decided to put in because I guess the time when they wrote this, orgies were a thing. There was a time in my life as well. That time has passed. And so he's like, pay attention to the rules, pay attention to everything that God told me that I told you. Like it's just, these are the people that don't have an intimate relationship with God. You get an intimate relation with God. Don't forget. Let's see what our devotional has to say. Ooh, just look on my mic. I am an adult. And like some of you, I became an adult because I got too old to be a child. Yes, Tiffany. So thankful for Jesus granting us forgiveness. That's the thing, right? We're supposed to forgive the way Jesus forgives. That's hard. But thank God. Whew. All right, let's read our devotional. Jason Bourne of book and movie fame. Okay, yeah, that one. Okay. Jason Bourne of book and movie fame is a fictitious, bad to the bone, top secret government agent who can do almost anything, except remember who he is. Jason spends his days fighting for, number 1, for his life, number 2, against really bad case of amnesia. In a way, the Bourne books and movies imitate real life, at least the spiritual life. We Christians also face a deadly enemy. That's from 1 Peter 5:8. And we too have serious memory issues. This explains why, as our verse says, just before the Israelites entered into the promised land, Moses gathered the people of God and passionately reminded them of God's character, law, and promises, and of their own holy calling. It's because our natural tendency is to forget that the Bible constantly calls us to remember. Okay. Let's see what our questions are. How do we humans tend to forget God's goodness and the good thing? Well, let me try that again because the words matter. Why do we humans tend to forget God's goodness and the good thing God has done for us? What can you do to remind yourself of these things? Why do we humans forget God's goodness and the good things God has done for us? I think it would be an easy argument. My first gut reaction to that question is I don't forget the good things. I just get busy. I didn't forget. I just got busy. You ever said you're going to go do something and it's not that you forgot, you just kind of forgot. just got busy and I got distracted. I didn't forget. I just kind of forgot. Just me. Cool. Why do we, I don't know why it says humans. Like, who else is reading this? Why do we forget God's goodness and the good things God has done for us? Maybe it could be the shit we find ourselves in all the time. Good morning, Miss Jenny. Have you ever found yourself or had somebody ask you the question, like, why does God let bad things happen? You ever had a case of the it's not fairs that you or somebody that you know is going through a tough time in a relationship, died? I guess if you died, you wouldn't be sad anymore, but you get what I'm saying. Cancer, deadly disease, like, why does God allow this to happen? Maybe that would be considered forgetting about all the good things that God does. I don't know. When I think of forgetting about God's goodness, and I think of it two ways, right? My anti-Christian life and my new Christian life where I'm falling forward, which is kind of like I'm failing, right? I'm failing forward into Jesus. So before it would have just been like, well, like, look at all the shit that happens around the world, right? Like, look at all the shit that's going on, all the wars, if why would God allow the wars? Well, nobody's answered that question yet. But how many people are praying to make them stop? That's my answer now. Like, I don't want to get dark. I don't want to get dark on a Tuesday morning. We can have some in-depth conversations in person and like engage in conversation, but this isn't the place for my commentary on all of the terrible things that happen, and why God allows them to happen. But I don't have an answer of why we forget and why do people, it's an interesting question. Hold on. Let's just go down the rabbit hole with me. Type away if you want to type away. Type on. Maybe it doesn't become a devotional today. Maybe today becomes a back and forth. The question is, why do we tend to forget God's goodness and the good things God has done for us? Which is not the same question as why do you forget that God's good? Right? That's a different question, right? Why is everybody such a bad driver? God, everybody in insert your town name here can't drive. If nobody in your neighborhood, nobody in your city, nobody in your state, nobody can drive, guess what, bitch? You can't drive either. Right? So instead of saying like, why am I struggling with driving? It's real easy to say, why is everybody else struggling? Right? We're part of it. So this question is kind of like, to me, like, why do people tend to forget God's goodness and the good things he's done for us? Well, I go to when I was an anti-Christian, and now what I get from either Christ curious or anti-Christians when they come at me. Yeah, well, why does God allow these wars to happen? I don't have an answer. Why did God let my grandma die of cancer? Well, you're 50, so your grandma was grown. And like, it's really sad that she died, but like, I mean, how long did you like, but why have cancer? And then I would just be like, cause y'all know. Well, she had lung cancer and she smoked for 80 years. So, I mean, not a good answer. Sometimes I'm just that person. It'll be all right. Somebody needs that person in your life. But if I ask that question, why do I forget God's goodness and the good things that God has done for me? That's a different question, because now it's here. And I think that's the better question. I don't think the good question is why does everybody else forget that God does good things? But maybe why do I forget? I think that's the better question. So that's the one we're going to ask. Why do I forget? And because why? Because I'm making the rules up as I go. So why do I forget? I forget because I get busy and I get distracted. We do live in a selfish environment, Michelle. Absolutely. That's a great one. Why do I forget? I am selfish. I forget all of the good things God has done because I'm selfish. And when shit is going bad in my life, It doesn't seem fair. I forget to be a good Christian because somebody pissed me off. And I'm like, listen, motherfucker, if you knew me back when, if you knew me, I'm going to walk away. I'm going to walk away in the spirit of the Lord. I haven't actually met anybody that made me so mad that I had to say that, but I got it in my pocket for when it does happen. Okay, so let's think it through. So that's a question I want you to ask yourself. You don't have to share. I always share. You don't have to share. But why do I tend to forget about God's goodness and the good things that God has done? So God did a whole lot of great things for other people and to other people, but he's also done great things in my life. Sometimes we forget because we don't remind ourselves. People that have been married for a long time, right? I work with a lot of women that are grown-ass women trying to figure out what we're trying to do with their lives. And a lot of them are married and they've been married for a long time. So they're in a successful relationship. They're not in they're not single, there's no good men out there like these ladies, although I have those ladies as well. But these groups of ladies for this specific story, these groups of ladies, they're in good marriages, but the marriages, they're not marriages anymore. And they're just two people that just kind of coexist together. They're really good roommates. Maybe they bump uglies sometimes, but they're not really, they don't date anymore. There's no like passion in pursuing. It's just like, oh, it's Monday, we must have meatloaf. It's like that. That's just like, that's what it is. And so in that marriage, we tend to forget like all those good things because we're living in right now, just the humdrum day-to-day thing. I got bills to pay. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. My neighbors lost their job. I'm afraid I might lose my job. Yada, yada, yada. So maybe the same thing. So your marriage is different, right? Your marriage is seeming like kind of like falling apart. I guess we just fell out of love. Okay, that's fair. You probably did fall out of love because you don't do anything together anymore. But when I start asking women about when they were new in that marriage, when they were dating, 100% of the time, 100% of the time, when I ask somebody, so where did you meet your husband? This is what happens. Big smile. Oh, they laugh. Ha ha ha. Big smile. Big eyes. Oh, let me tell you, big smile and a laugh. Oh my gosh. Oh, we're so young. But it's a big smile. And there's like a positive energy, right? I have not met anybody yet. It could happen. Nobody met their husband while they were a bus driver and like some crazy terrorist cut the brakes and they couldn't go below 55. And they had to like jump a bridge, the bus full of people. Nobody I ever met their husband like that. Okay. So it's always something stupid. Oh, man, college, we were in the same class. He was so cute. I never talked to me. Or I didn't like him at first. Like I was like, you're kind of annoying, but his annoying grew on me. And then when you go back to that new freshness, and you can remember that, and what kind of things did you do? And when did you stop doing those things? And you start pulling it out. And over the course of, months, it comes to that realization that the reason that the marriage doesn't have good anymore is because nobody does anything with it. We just let it go. Why is your health bad? Well, I started putting on a few pounds and I was just like, well, I mean, it's okay. I bought bigger clothes, but like now I'm in a 3XL and I used to wear a 6. And like, I don't know how that happened. That didn't happen overnight. You don't wake up one night, poof, you were a 3XL. That is not how that happens. It happens slowly over time because you quit doing the things, taking care of the relationship, taking care of yourself. You quit doing those things. And so I would say, because I like to have the analogy of real life to God, he's real, but like, ooh, right? So I would say that why do I forget about God's goodness and the good things that God has done is because I don't spend time with him. When I don't read my Bible, when I don't do a devotional, when I don't go to a class, when I don't interact with other Christian people, I tend to forget. And not all Christian people, because some Christian people make you like wonder, like, have you read the Bible? Okay. Anyway, so that's what I think. I think that for me, the times that I like forget the goodness and I have those pity parties and I really just start to, I guess, what is it? Spiritual amnesia. I start to forget all the great things that God has done so that I can be me and I can go out there and reach out to people is the time when I have separated myself from God. That's my answer. You have your own answer. I was trying to help because this is a hard one. Sometimes they're hard. Then the question 2, what can you do to remind yourself of these things? So what can you do to remind yourself of the good things that God has done? Well, for me, it's reading the Bible every day or doing a devotional. I don't really like to read my Bible every day. I know some people do. They just like dive into the word. I'm not there yet. I follow this girl on YouTube. I can't remember her name. Lindsay something. Anyway, she does like on Wednesdays, she's like super, super into scrapbooking. And I feel like she is Pinterest. Like, I bet her Pinterest is on point. Do people even do Pinterest anymore? Anyway, I am not her extraness. I am my own extraness. But she does on Wednesdays, she does like a word study. So she picks a word out of the Bible and she does like, I just watch like this sometimes. Get some popcorn. I'll hate popcorn. So I just watch this shit like, yeah, that's cool. I don't partake. Is not my cup of tea. But she gets a word and she like writes that word and she finds that word in the Bible and has that word relate here. And she gets really like into it. And I don't like to do that. But when I'm watching her do her little videos, it's like, I feel like it's watching the exercise people sitting on your couch. Oh, I bet if I did that, that would feel good to my back. That's what I'm doing. But I'm watching her. And I think that when she is doing these words, it helps me sometimes to remember, oh, okay, I'm now a little bit closer to God, right? It helps remind me kind of those things. And so for her, it's doing Wednesday, reminding her the goodness is by doing kind of like a word study, if you will. And she's reading that Bible a lot. And I just don't read my Bible every day. She's really into like the word, like a word, like I don't know, love. I'm sure that's a word in the Bible. And so she's really into the word of it and diving in and where's it out in the Bible and how many times is it said and like all that shit. Super fantastic for her. I'm not really into it, but I kind of like watching it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It's another way to study the Bible. It's not my way. Some people do the Bible every year. They read the Bible every single year. Some people like to do different studies and stuff. Right now, for me, I'm doing this every day. I got my group on Monday nights, and I've just been interjecting a little bit of Jesus at a time. I'm not trying to scare anybody. And then on Wednesday mornings, I'm doing a Bible study on the book of Acts. And then at church on Sundays, we're doing a study on the Apostles' Creed. I can remember. So like that's a lot. That's a lot, right? That's 2 days a week. I got 2 kind of studies happening, and I still feel like it's not enough, but that's okay. And so I guess really the questions that I want you to be journaling about: why do you forget, and what can you do to remember? There you go. Super simple. So Michelle, would you pop in here? Hold on. I see it lights up. It lit up. COVID closed our church down for a year, and it no longer became my routine. My kids are confirmed, and honestly, don't make it a priority Sunday mornings. It's so easy to fall out of habit. It's so easy to fall out of habit. I will tell you right now, I had my panties in a big old knot when the church closed because of COVID. I'm not trying to be any certain way, but you already know how I feel about COVID if you know me at all. Like, it's terrible. And if somebody that you know gets COVID and they die with COVID, because the chances of dying from COVID are minuscule, but you can die with COVID and it can advance your death, as could the flu, as could having AIDS. If you have HIV and you catch pneumonia, you in trouble. Okay, like I'm being really honest with you, and I do think that the whole world shutting down was not a good idea. I think that the balance of, you have to have balance, right? You have to have balance. Like, we all got a bunch of nuclear bombs. Somebody could win the war of the world, but like the world would be destroyed. So like maybe we don't use them, right? There's balance. So I think that, with this pandemic that did globally go around the world, I didn't say that it didn't, but I think that just shutting everything down, I think that the cost was too high. If somebody that died in the past 2 years, it's sad for you. Truly, it is very sad. If they died in a car accident, it is just as sad as if they died from type 2 diabetes. It is just as sad as if they had a heart attack. It is just as sad. When somebody that you love dies, it is sad. But I do think that COVID, what I think that it did, I think there was good But I think there's also, was it really good? Because what COVID did is it forced churches to live stream. And what's funny about that is kind of the new churches that are like super hip and cool and everybody wears jeans that are ripped, maybe a jean jacket, they've got that flat brim hat. I'm talking shit about you if you dress like that. They were hip and cool, kind of the big mega churches. I do believe mega churches have a place. If you go to a mega church, go away. Not go away, like go on, go to your mega church. I think they serve a good purpose. I think those churches were great at streaming. And all of your local churches and your local denominations were trying to figure it out. I mean, there were some churches, there was just a pastor like this live on Facebook just talking, right? Like that was what they had to do to reach the people. I know like older people who like don't do the interweb. How am I getting my church? How am I getting my church? I can't go to church because, COVID, I could die. We didn't know when it first happened, right? Everything shut down. And now I can't get my church. And so like this panic set in, right? So good things that happen is that your mom and pop churches, if you will, your smaller churches, your large denominations, Episcopalian, the Catholics actually did it live from like Rome or something, but it was a really shoddy video. I mean, like considering like, if you start bad mouthing Catholics, I'm gonna come at you. Because if you got to badmouth another religion to prove your religion is better, you got issues. But the Catholic Church has a whole lot of money, and like their live streams, they were shitty. It was like somebody with a camera like this. They had a little bit of Parkinson's happening. Like you couldn't do better. You got some money. You could hire like Michael Bay could come in there, shine a light down on you on the right spot. But anyway, I think what COVID did is it did a good thing. It forced churches to like jump into technology, but it did a bad thing because I know for me when it was online, I got other things to do. I would be surprised if most of the people who tune in to watch me are sitting down and taking notes. You probably got it playing while you're doing other shit. That's just the reality of it. That's what I did on Sunday. And like, I really like the music. I love singing. I think it's so awesome and everything. But like sometimes the music would just be a little bit like off and I would just like turn that down. And then sometimes the preacher would be preaching about something that I was like, yes, I'm speaking to me. And I would just turn that down. I left it on. I don't want to turn it off. But like I turned it down. Whatever. I don't care what that person's talking about today. That's just stupid. Right? But when you're in church, you kind of have to sit there. You might still turn it off in your head, but you still have to be there. And you have to interact with people. And So I think good and bad happened from it. Good, the virtual thing started happening. Bad, it's easier to tune out. It was way easier to tune out. And then to Michelle's point, you get out of the habit. You get out of the habit of going to church. You get out of habit of going to going somewhere. There's power. I tell my gals all the time. I tell people that there's power in the pen. Write shit down. Don't think it. Don't type it out. Like there's power here in the pen. I got a hair in my pen. There's a power in the pen of like writing it down. It means something more when it's your pen ink on the paper. There's also something about going somewhere. There's so much anxiety and stuff. I'm not trying to give a spoiler to what's coming up in future Monday trainings, Monday nights if you come. But like people don't want to leave their houses now. And why? I could wear my unicorn hat all day long, walking around my PJs all day long with my over-dyed eyebrows because they haven't faded yet, all day long. I could order food. There's 2 or 3 companies that deliver food anymore. It isn't just pizza or Chinese, right? I got somebody that could drive to 6 places to go get me 6 different things to eat. I can get my groceries delivered here. I can get everything. Panties. I need panties. I can go get my panties. I need a new doodad. Literally anything can be delivered to me. I no longer have to leave my house. The whole world can come to me, and then I can complain about how depressed I am and how like riddled with anxiety that I am because I don't want to leave my house. And so that is a negative. That's a negative side effect from all of the shutdowns. And if I'm in that world where everything is coming to me and I'm not going out there and facing the world, I don't ever get ready. But in the morning when I wake up and I get ready for church, I'm like getting ready for church. In the morning when I get up and I'm getting ready for this, I'm getting ready for this. I'm pulling out what I'm got. I can make sure I got my verses up. Did I get it in the message? Right? I get things ready, and that helps focus your mind. Whereas when it's streaming, I ain't got to do nothing. Uber Eats is delivering my kolaches. I don't like kolaches, but anyway. I'm in my PJs. I don't feel like opening the door. Just leave it at the door, hon. I'll get it. God, I'm so broke. Why don't I have any money? Well, bitch, you order Uber Eats 4 days a week, 4 times a day, 7 days a week. Anyway, so back to our questions. Back to the questions. She is on a ramble mode. All right, back to the questions. Question number 1, why do I forget about the goodness of God? The goodness of God. And number 2, what can I do to kick my ass in gear? Those are your questions today. Have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for coming. Remember, if you want a little Bible sticker, I got 100 of them. I got a couple people sent me their addresses. If you want one, I'm gonna send some out today. Not in the comments, but you send me a private message, but you got to click my little face, where it says Decker Walters is live now. You just hover over that little circle, me and my husband, and pop down the little thing, and it'll say, send a message. And you just send a message and send me your address, and I will send you a Bible sticker. How exciting would it be to get something that isn't a bill or credit card application in the mail? Super fun. Or coupon. I guess they still get coupons in the mail. Okay. You guys have a fantastic morning. And hold on. Jenny said something. There's a delay on me getting the messages. We have a micro church in our home on Sundays. It's great because it keeps me accountable. Gives others who don't use Zoom a place to interact, and gives us space to discuss after. That is awesome. Little churches are great. Little churches are so, so good. There's a place for a tiny church. There's a place for a mega church. There truly is. There's a place for every size of church. There really, really is. And I love that. I love it. Okay, guys. You guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you mañana. Oh, what are we doing tomorrow? I know you want to know. Namers and name callers. Just based on that, I can tell you right now, I've been both. Man, sometimes I feel like I'm not a good person, but then other times I realize I'm really not a good person, but it's going to be okay anyway. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.